Prepare yourselves, Outlander enthusiasts. The stunning Season 8 narrative has been unveiled, and it resonates like a force of nature across the Scottish Highlands. Starz has presented a vision that doesn't merely hint, it filled with heart-stopping revelations, deeply desired reunions, and monumental shifts that will redefine the Fraser saga. This unveiling makes one reality paramount. Everything we believed we understood is about to be irrevocably altered. From the spectral return of figures thought lost, to the ages, to the dark omens of treachery and sorrow casting long shadows, the concluding season of Outlander is poised to be an emotional tempest unlike any before. The Frasers' existence is unraveling with alarming speed, and no one, not even Jamie and Claire, is shielded from the tempest on the horizon. Will their storied love truly transcend the unyielding progression of time, or has destiny at last discovered a vulnerability in their extraordinary bond? With conflict looming, secrets fiercely breaking free, and history itself demanding retribution, the couple confronts their most formidable ordeal to date. As ethereal remnants of the past clash with the ambiguities of the future, decisions forged in the present could resonate through subsequent generations. Delve into the unforeseen spoilers, but be warned, you'll wish for a moment to catch your breath, as some moments are so potent, you'll forget to do so. The anticipation is over, and it has been worth every single second. With the dramatic reveal of Season 8's direction, Outlander doesn't simply resume, it explodes onto our consciousness. Starz has opened the floodgates to what could very well be 2025's most keenly awaited television narrative, providing a window into a season overflowing with danger, ardent emotion, and strategic maneuvers that will keep followers utterly engrossed. As the Fraser story drives towards its grand finale, audiences can anticipate a last chapter that examines the most profound allegiances, deciphers long-guarded truths, and compels Jamie and Claire to face sacrifices more agonizing and more lasting than they ever conceived. The stakes have never been so high. The dramatic tension has never been more acute, and the conclusion, it is nearer than ever. From long-interred specters re-emerging, to calamitous betrayals threatening to splinter Fraser's Ridge, the outline hints at a pulse-pounding intersection of love and legacy. But be advised, this isn't merely a peek, it's a minefield of revelation. Journey with us as we dissect the twists, the shocks, and the emotional charges embedded in every development, and pose the question on every admirer's mind. Can love truly overcome all obstacles when time itself stands as the ultimate adversary? Outlander Season 8 presents the definitive reckoning, the true price of a love that defied epochs and the indelible marks it impresses upon history. As Jamie and Claire Fraser's odyssey rushes towards its climax, the final season contends with the collision of personal choices and the relentless current of fate. Phantoms from yesteryear re-emerge, seeking their loyalties crumble under the burden of legacy, and the couple's decades of sacrifice send ripples into a future they might never witness. At its heart, Season 8 queries, can love's passionate flame endure beyond the ravages of time, or does unwavering devotion itself morph into the wound that unravels all? The narrative reveals a world where mere survival depends not on battles won, but on truths carefully concealed and the chilling cost of attempting to rewrite destiny. The story commences with Jamie and Claire Fraser, silhouetted against a storm-battered precipice, their features etched by years of shared love and hardship. An older Roger's voice cuts through the scene, "You cannot escape time, but heaven help them, they certainly try." What ensues is a visceral, spoiler-rich descent into the Frasers' concluding chapter, where the strands of past, present, and future tangle in a frantic endeavor to reshape their fate. Tranquility on Fraser's Ridge proves fleeting as the revolution's aftermath yields to fresh turmoil. Joe Abernathy, older and bearing grave news, reappears with a solemn warning. Claire's application of modern medical knowledge and her interventions in historical occurrences have fractured the timeline, destabilizing reality itself. Jamie, concurrently, is tormented by visions of Dougal Mackenzie, the uncle whose cause he once fought then was forced to betray, who now seems to accuse him in spectral visitations for unresolved conflicts and the cyclical nature of rebellion. The family divides further when Brianna and Roger journey back to the past with their son Jemmy, After discovering a letter that foretells Jamie and Claire's deaths in the year 7, their arrival precipitates disaster. Jamie is abducted by Colonel Edgar Marlowe, a zealous redcoat connected to Galis Duncan's fanatical followers, who believes the boy's time-traveling lineage contains the secret to eternal life. As Jamie musters a militia to assault Marlowe's stronghold, Claire confronts an astounding revelation: she is pregnant at 60. A medical anomaly that signifies time itself is unraveling. Abernathy cautions that the child's birth could obliterate entire histories, thrusting Claire and Jamie into a desperate race against temporal collapse. The narrative suggests a brutal confrontation between Jamie and Marlowe, who brandishes pages from Claire's lost journals to manipulate events, interwoven with Claire's harrowing labor aboard a vessel sailing for Scotland. The conflict becomes a last resort attempt to reset the timeline at the Standing Stones at Craigna Dun. The crisis reaches its zenith. Claire collapses as the stones blaze with power, her body succumbing to the pressure of paradox. Jamie arrives scarred from battle, and Roger presents a grim choice. One of them must traverse the stones to preserve the child. In a heart-rending exchange, Jamie and Claire deliberate who will remain and who will depart, their words interspersed with vivid flashes of their shared existence. The final glimpse shows Claire's hand pressed against the stone as Jamie implores, "Live, Sassenach, for both of us," before an overwhelming light engulfs the screen. The narrative concludes with a poignant post-credit scene. In 2030, an elderly Roger and Brianna stand somberly at Claire's gravestone in Boston, marked 7. As they leave, the camera focuses on a silver-haired figure amidst the trees, Jamie Fraser, alive in the contemporary era. His survival is a silent, profound mystery. The season depicts time as the ultimate antagonist, entwining the Frasers' personal tribulations with the broader tapestry of historical resonances of earlier seasons. Claire's pregnancy, the stones, the price of defiance, anchor the story in the series' foundational elements, while delivering shocking turns designed to spark intense discussion. Ambiguity pervades the finale, striking a balance between hope and tragedy, leaving fans to ponder, even within a fractured timeline, can love's enduring echo persist? Season 8 propels Jamie and Claire Fraser into a terrifying confrontation with the repercussions of decades spent challenging time. Their defiance, Claire's employment of future medical practices to save lives, Jamie's interferences in historical battles, has unsettled reality, generating catastrophic disturbances that endanger entire segments of history. This disintegration appears in stark ways. Claire, at 60, finds herself inexplicably pregnant, a biological incongruity that becomes both an emblem of hope and a ticking bomb. Joe Abernathy reappears, declaring the couple a fissure in time. The child's very being threatens to unravel the timeline. Simultaneously, Jamie is plagued by spectral apparitions of Dougal Mackenzie, who seems to reproach him for choices that perpetuated cycles of conflict despite his intention. These visions compel Jamie to face the moral weight of his actions, how even efforts to achieve freedom can leave unforeseen legacies of strife. The Fraser family splinters under mounting danger. Brianna and Roger's return to the 18th century, prompted by a future letter forecasting Jamie and Claire's demise, inadvertently sparks chaos when Jamie is seized by Colonel Marlowe, using pages purloined from Claire's journals, is convinced Jamie's lineage is the key to immortality, initiating a savage clash between Jamie's militia and Marlowe's loyalists. In parallel, young Ian confronts a devastating dilemma between his Mohawk allegiances and the Frasers, a choice that results in a profound betrayal, highlighting how loyalty and legacy are strained to their limits. The season's climax centers on sacrifice. As Claire's body falters under the duress of temporal paradox during childbirth on a ship bound for Scotland, Jamie engages Marlowe in a visceral struggle, her agony juxtaposed with his battle. The conflict converges at Craigna Dun, where the standing stones throb with erratic energy. Roger delivers a stark ultimatum: one of the Frasers must pass through the stones to rescue their unborn child, or all could be forfeited, both mother and baby perishing in a devastating echo of their initial separation. Jamie and Claire debate who will remain and who will venture forth, their dialogue enriched with flashbacks of a lifetime filled with love and loss. Jamie's plea, "Live, Sassenach, for both of us," culminates with Claire gripping the stone as light envelops her, her destiny uncertain. The post-credit scene amplifies the tragedy. In 2030, an aged Brianna and Roger mourn at Claire's grave in Boston, dated 1781, implying she stayed in the past. Yet as they depart, a figure emerges from the woods, a silver-haired Jamie, alive in the modern world. This haunting coda leaves unresolved whether he endured through time's mercy or a rewritten reality, embodying the series' central tension, whether love's defiance can truly outlast time's cruelty, or if sacrifice merely reshapes rather than conquers fate. The season portrays defiance not as simple victory, but as a perilous double-edged sword, where every decision to alter history exacts a severe price, and sacrifice becomes the sole currency potent enough to secure hope in a disintegrating world. The saga of Outlander Season 8 concludes not with a neat resolution, but with a lingering echo of love's defiance against time's indifferent march. At Craina Dun, Claire's hand desperately clings to the stone as Jamie's voice, Liv Sassenach, dissolves into the vortex of the time stream. Light consumes her, and when it subsides, she is gone. Jamie crumples to his knees, the wind carrying the faint cry of a newborn, a sound that should not be possible in this fractured existence. In the ensuing period, Fraser's Ridge settles into an uneasy. Jamie is retrieved from Marlowe's grasp, but the toll is visible in young Ian's vacant gaze. His agonizing choice to betray his Mohawk kin leaves him estranged, caught between two worlds. Brianna and Roger, holding their son close, unearth Claire's journal amid the ruins of Marlowe's fortress. Its final entry, dated the day she disappeared, states, "If you read this, I am gone, but tell Jamie I have loved him in every when." The family consigns the journal to flames, a desperate, perhaps futile gesture to mend the fractures in history. Years pass like leaves scattered from an ancient tome, worn and inexorable, and then in the spring of 1781, Claire Beauchamp Randall Fraser, time traveler, healer, warrior, wife, died peacefully in Jamie's embrace at Lallybrook. Her body, though attended with all the accumulated knowledge of 2 centuries, could no longer bear the paradoxes of time it had sheltered for so long. She departed in the gentle Highland twilight, her last breath a soft whisper against Jamie's cheek. He laid her to rest beneath the great sycamore on the rise, overlooking the undulating fields they once envisioned sharing. The stone he inscribed with his own hands bore a single Gaelic phrase, Bine de Shakal. She walked in 2 worlds. Over time her grave transcended being a mere marker. It became legend. Travelers, historians and romantics alike journeyed to that hill, murmuring stories of the woman who defied the very laws of time and mortality. Some claimed the winds carried her voice, others left tokens, wild flowers, small vials of herbs, faded photographs, and pages from medical texts. Jamie, now silver-haired and his steps measured, spent his remaining years beside her stone. He recounted tales of battles waged, mornings filled with laughter, their children's achievements, the profound stillness after a storm, and on one autumn morning, with mist clinging low to the heather, he drew his final breath beside her, a faint smile still gracing his lips. But time, ever the trickster, had not concluded its play with them. In 2030, centuries and lifetimes distant, Roger Mackenzie and Brianna Fraser stood quietly in a small Boston cemetery. The grave was unassuming but lovingly kept, a bronze plaque marking Claire Elizabeth Beauchamp Randall Fraser. They placed flowers, white heather, deep crimson roses. As they turned to leave, a figure captured their attention. At the edge of the trees stood an old man, tall and broad-shouldered despite his age, with silver hair glinting in the sunlight, and eyes of an impossible blue. He moved forward with a sacred hesitation, as if each step risked unraveling the fabric of the world itself. In his hand, he clutched Claire's worn medical bracelet, engraved with her name, her blood type, the phantom of a life she once inhabited in another century. Jamie Fraser had traversed time once more. He walked alone through Boston's modern clamor, seemingly untouched by the world he now occupied. Eventually he found his way to a quiet knoll just outside Inverness, where, preserved behind glass in a National Heritage Museum, stood the silent stones of Craina Dun. Reverently Jamie approached them, With a trembling hand, he pressed his palm to the central stone. His eyes closed for a heartbeat. The air around him vibrated. A low hum commenced, almost imperceptible, like a memory echoing across eons. Then, silence. The screen focuses on Cranedon, shrouded in fog and enigma. The stones, ancient and serrated, shimmer with fractured light. The wind sighs like a spirit calling for home. Claire, portrayed by Catriona Balfe, is pale, her vitality diminishing, but her resolve unbroken. One hand grips the cold stone, the other rests protectively upon her swollen abdomen. Beside her, Jamie, played by Sam Heughan, is on his knees, blood marking his face, his arms shaking as he supports her. "I cannot lose you," he rasps. "You have always been the strongest of us." Her eyes gleam with tears and centuries of profound love. "Not without you," she whispers. The wind intensifies. The stones erupt in brilliant light. Claire screams, a raw primal sound, as the energy around them warps reality. Her hand tightens on Jamie's. A pulse, rapid and strong, beats in perfect synchrony with their unborn child's heart. Time splinters, and then, stillness. Jamie collapses onto the moss, Claire's emerald wedding ring, held tight in his fist. The light has vanished. The stones stand inert once more. In the hush that descends, a newborn's cry cuts through the tranquil air. Jamie stumbles towards the sound, and finds Roger, portrayed by Richard Rankin, kneeling beside a tiny wailing infant, wrapped in Claire's familiar shawl. The baby's hair is a mass of fiery red curls. Her eyes, even in their newborn imprecision, shine an incredible blue. "She's yours," Roger says hoarsely. "Claire is gone, but this is her final gift." The years unfurl. Seasons pass in a swift succession of verdant springs and golden autumns. At Fraser's Ridge, Jamie raises the girl, naming her Hope Amanda Fraser. With deep reverence and boundless love, he teaches her of herbs, of honor, of stars that offer guidance, and of stories that hold meaning. Around campfires, and at her bedside, he tells her of her mother, a healer, a warrior, a woman born outside her own time. Hope grows resilient, intelligent, and with a spirit untamed. The ridge prospers, and the echoes of the past gently whisper into